When someone humiliates you in public, do this. Have you ever experienced that moment? Someone says something that makes the whole room burst out laughing. All eyes turn to you. Your face flushes. Your heart races. Only one thought runs through your head. I have to retaliate immediately. But this is what most people don't realize. The moment you react with anger, you give the other person exactly what they want. Attention, control, and power over your emotions. Interestingly, the strongest people aren't those who always have the sharpest answers, nor are they those who win every argument. The strongest people are those who don't let others dictate their emotions. When someone humiliates you in front of others, your brain perceives it as a threat. Since ancient times, being rejected by a community has meant the risk of losing protection and survival. That's why a mockery can sometimes hurt as much as a punch. But this is where the biggest mistake lies. We think we have to retaliate immediately. We have to prove ourselves right. We have to silence the other person. However, wise people understand that not every battle is worth fighting. Imagine un lion. It doesn't turn its head every time it hears a dog bark. Not because it doesn't hear, but because it knows who it is. Truly confident people are like that. They don't need to win every argument to prove their worth. They understand that calmness is often far more dangerous than anger. And that's the first lesson. When insulted in front of a crowd, don't react immediately. Pause for a few seconds. Take a deep breath. That brief silence will accomplish two things. First, it prevents emotions from controlling your actions. Second, it deprives the other person of the advantage they were hoping for, because they were prepared for your anger, but they weren't prepared for your calmness. But silence is only the first step. The next step is what truly takes the person who offended you away from control. That's asking questions. Most people, when attacked, immediately retaliate. They argue. They explain. They try to prove they're right. And that's when they get drawn into the other person's game. But think about it. If someone says, "You're useless," you might respond with anger, or simply ask, "Can you explain that more clearly?" Suddenly, everything changes. Now the pressure isn't on you anymore. It's on the person who just made the insult. They're forced to explain, forced to prove, forced to take responsibility for what they just said. Many people enjoy mocking others, but they don't like being asked to explain, because most insults are born from momentary emotion, not from reason. A calm question can reveal that. This is a technique many negotiators and leaders use. They don't react emotionally. They react with curiosity, and that keeps them in control of the situation. But there's something even more important. That is, don't try to protect your ego too much. Be honest. Why do other people's words hurt us? Not because of the words themselves, but because we fear they're true. When someone calls you a failure, what bothers you isn't the sound coming from their mouth. It's the fear that they might see something you don't want to face. That's why strong people always look at themselves first. If the criticism is right, they learn from it. If the criticism is wrong, they ignore it. It's that simple. Imagine someone tells you that the sky is green. Would you get angry? Certainly not, because you know it's not true. So why do we get angry when others make unreasonable comments about us? The answer is because we let their opinions determine our self-worth. And that's a dangerous trap. When your value depends on praise, it will also be hurt by criticism. When your happiness depends on recognition, it will also disappear when you are rejected. Truly, free people don't live that way. They know who they are. They know their strengths. They know their weaknesses. And so they don't need the world's approval to feel valuable. This is why many successful people seem calm in the face of criticism, not because they don't hear it, because they no longer see those words as a measure of their worth. And when you reach that state, you'll realize something strange. Those who once tried to hurt you begin to lose their power, because their only weapon is your reaction. When you no longer react as they expect, the game is over. P3. And this is something most people never understand. When someone tries to humiliate you in front of a crowd, their real goal isn't to tell the truth. Their goal is to make you lose control. They want to see you angry. They want to see you argue. They want to see you become defensive, because that moment makes them feel stronger. But there's a way to turn the whole situation around. A way so simple that many people overlook it. That is to stay calm and let the silence do the work for you. Imagine this. Someone in a meeting suddenly makes fun of you. Everyone looks at you. They wait for your reaction. If you get angry, the conversation will revolve around your feelings. But if you just smile slightly, stay calm, and say, "Thank you for your opinion," what will happen? The whole room will feel something very different. The stress is no longer on you. It moves on to the person who just tried to insult you, because now they look like people trying to cause trouble. While you look more mature, this is an interesting psychological law. People who lose control of their emotions often lose the respect of others. People who stay calm often gain respect, even if they don't say much. That's why wise people understand that sometimes the biggest victory isn't beating your opponent. It's about refusing to join the fight. Remember this: a person who throws mud at you just expects you to throw it back, because then both are equally dirty. But when you don't bend down to pick up the mud, people standing outside will clearly see who started, who is behaving uncontrollably, and who is really strong. The Stoic philosopher once said, "No one can hurt you if you don't give them that right." At first, this statement may sound unbelievable, but think carefully. Two people can hear the same insult. One person was angry all week. The other person forgot about it after a few minutes. The words are the same. The difference lies in how they receive it. That's why true power isn't about controlling others. It's about controlling your own reaction. And this is the moment everything changes. When you stop trying to prove your worth to everyone, you'll realize that many arguments become meaningless. You don't need to win everyone. You just need to win yourself. You don't need to make everyone like you. You just need to live true to your values. Because ultimately, the people who truly matter will judge you by your actions, not by rumors, not by ridicule, and certainly not by the opinions of those who only want to drag you down. So the next time someone tries to humiliate you in front of a crowd, remember, strength isn't about retaliating the fastest. Strength is about whether you're calm enough not to retaliate. Because sometimes, the silence of a confident person resonates more powerfully than any response. And in that very moment, you have won.